Hello everyone, it's Linux here, and today I'm going to explain to you on how to texture things with Substance Painter. Alright, so for this example we're going to use this bogey that I made for the Verum. Okay, so I fixed the mesh and some parts, but what you're going to do is you join as many as possible. If not, that's okay. What you're going to do then is you're going to hide one wheel. So you only have to texture one and you can just duplicate it and paste it here. What you're gonna do is you're gonna select the frame, the material, and name this, for example, frame material. What you're gonna do next is you want to give every part of the frame the same material. So frame material for this one. This one also frame material. This one also frame material. And if you have everything named frame material, should be everything right now. Yes. So what you're gonna do next is you're gonna select the wheel, create a new material for the wheel, and name it wheel material. Okay, now you have done that. You have two options for UV wrapping. What you can do first, or what you can do is you can unwrap in Blender, for example, by using the Smart UV project. But it comes out like this, which is if I go here and I pack it, you might lose quality. You want high quality textures. So what I suggest you to do is just export it. So I select everything here. I export it by FBX. I go to downloads, select objects. I will keep it here. You can keep it anywhere else. And then what you can do is you can export it and name it, for example, bogey. I call it film bogey for now. .fbx. Now keep in mind to limit to selected objects is ticked on, so you can export only the selected objects. If you have more than this in your project, then hit export FBX. Okay, so what you're going to do right now is you go here to file, new, and you go here to template. Normally it should say select template, but what you're going to do is you go for the Roblox Surface Appearance. At least if you're doing it for Roblox. If you need something else, or if you're making it for something else, you can use Blender starter assets or anything else really. For example, Unreal Engine or Unity HD render pipeline. Then select the file. Here it is, the from bogey. For Roblox, the resolution, the max resolution you can get is 1K. Anything higher than that, Roblox will just downgrade it. So I just keep it at 1K so you know how it looks like. Next up, we have the normal map format. Well, just keep it at OpenGL. It doesn't really matter the UV tile workflow. That's not really necessary for now. Roblox doesn't support that either. If you have unwrapped it in Blender, take off the auto unwrap. If not, take on the auto unwrap if you want to unwrap it in Substance 3D Painter. You can also click on options to see what do you want to UV map or unwrap. For example, you can only generate the missing data. So for example, meshes that haven't been UV wrapped. We can also just recompute all, so it will unwrap everything. The margin size is the spaces between the objects. For example, if I go here back to Blender and I go here, you can see this is a margin size here, margin size here. Those are margin sizes. Those are just the empty spots. For if you want to have high quality, you should just go for small. But I'll keep it on medium to have a more clearer view of texturing. But for this time, I'll do small, which is also the one at default. One of the things I should suggest you to do is ticking on the avoid elongated UV islands. This will This will avoid making very long UVs. For example, if you go over here, you can see those are very long rows. It will avoid doing this, and it will just split it up for a high quality UV. So click this on. Don't take on create fewer seams, because this will just create fewer seams. This is only great for low poly models, because then you can just easily texture it, and it doesn't create like a wall UV map with like a lot of faces. But don't take on this, because you got a quite a high trace model. I'll then press on OK. Well, that's kind of it. You can also import the cameras, but you can just also leave it as be. Then press OK. It will automatically UV unwrap itself now for every each material. And here comes the material thing for substance. In Substance Painter, you have you can separate models or meshes by giving them a separate material. For example, if I want to texture the frame, I give every piece of the frame or every object of the frame the same material. If I want to texture the wheel, I just give every object or every mesh of the wheel the same material. This comes in hand when texturing. Okay, now since you have imported your mesh into the project, go to Texture Set Settings and bake the mesh maps. This will make sure that if you want to apply a smart material right here, it will actually apply a smart material. So let's bake the mesh maps. Of course, you have to set your output size to 1024 because it's the 1K quality. You can mess with the dilation, but that doesn't really matter. If you have a low poly mesh, you can take it on to use it as a high poly mesh for a more defining result. Keep in mind that your faces should face the correct way. If your face doesn't face the correct way, you'll end up having difficulties, or you will end up having problems with generating the ambient occlusion maps. For example, if I didn't tick on the ignore back face box, faces that weren't facing the right way would mess up the ambient occlusion maps. If you have done that, then just hit bake, select the textures, and then you're done. Let's return back to the painting mode. So what you're gonna do right now is you're gonna see how it looks up, how it looked, how it looks. So let's add a paint layer here. Let's go search for a smart material. Since this is a bogey, we go for something like steel painted. I think steel painted or steel gun painted looks very well. Looks great, actually. Since a bogey is more of a matte finish and it's a bit dirty. Also, it's also a great idea to have references ready. So if I go here, firm bogey. For example, this is a firm bogey, as you can see. You can see it's quite dirty. Now, how are we going to recreate or replicate this dirtiness of this train? Oh, that's quite easy. Just put on a smart material on there. See, you got this. And you see, it's quite a low quality because I joined so many objects together, and that's not a bad. That's not really bad because it depends if you like the style or not. But I don't really like it. But I just keep it like this because I'm okay with that. So see what material really fits with the object itself. If you don't really find anything suitable, okay. So let's add a paint fill layer and go down here to the properties tab. You can change the color here. For example, more brownish color, like we've seen here. I think that looks great. Now, let's get the matte finish. Don't mess with the height, because you don't really do something, you don't really add something to the height. So what you can do with the height is you can just disable it by pressing it here. Now, let's go to the roughness. This will make it more matte or more shiny. So let's make it more matte, because it's the same as here. So you go here, and I think this is great. Something like here. This looks amazing. Now let's go to the metallic. If you make it more metallic, you can see it's quite dark. That's the same what Roblox does to your objects if you make it metallic material. So let's add a little bit of metallic in here. That looks great. Right, you don't have to mess with the opacity. This will just change the opacity to 0 or 1. Roblox doesn't support that, so you can just take it off. Okay, now you got this, but now it's just brown and it's quite plain. Let's see. What does it look like here? You see there's this part that is gray. You can also see it's quite rusty and dirty. So how do we do that? What we're gonna do is you go here to the smart masks, and you can see here a lot of options such as dirt dry, dirt cavities, dirt ground, dirt heavy, dirtly dry, dirt soft edges, and you go all the way down to water drips and moss and fibers and whatever. So what you're gonna do is I preferably add dirt ground, and as you can see in the cavities and at edges, you can see it's quite dirty. So I think that's a great thing to add. Let's drag it on top of the mesh. There we go. Now you can see it's all white. And we're not driving in snow, so we don't need this. What we're gonna do is you go here to the fill layer here of the dirt. You can also name it, for example, dirt. Let's change the color to a more darkish color. Like so. You can also change the roughness, like so. You can also change the metallic, like so. You can also take off the opacity. If you don't want to mess with the roughness, the height, or anything like that, just take it off, and then you're good to go. What I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna make it less darker and more blending into it, like this. And now it already looks quite great. As you can see here in this image, you can see this. If you can see in this image, you can see that this is gray. In order to recreate this, we're gonna add a paint layer. And we're gonna go here to the polygon fill and make it this dark color. Make sure you actually texture the things that needs that color. Now let's go to the wheel. As you can see, the wheel is more interesting. You can see that the wheel normally has like this type of metal edge that's going on top of let's keep touching the rails. So let's give it the same material as the frame material, like this. That looks okay, as you can see. We want to add those metal edges here. So how are we going to do that? Oh, that's quite easy. What you could do is you go for the chrome blue tint, but I will just go for the steel scratched. I think that looks great for now. So what you're going to do now is you go here, right click, and you add a white mask. Actually, you add a black mask. And now it's gone. But when you're good, what are you going to do now is you go to polygon fill, you go up here, and you're just going to fill these. And as you can see, it shows those metal edges. And it's quite easy work, see? But you can also turn on symmetry. So if I just remove this layer, and I add a white layer again, and I add symmetry, it will just apply it to the same side. So that's that. But now it doesn't look quite well, does it? It looks quite hideous here. So how are we gonna fix that? Maybe because it didn't apply steel scratched. So my dumb ass didn't really explain this very well. So I moved the dirt layer up so you can see the dirt, which makes it look a bit better, and it doesn't look that all linear. So yeah, that's just it. And I copied it from the frame material and pasted it into the wheel material. So yeah. Going here to the wheel material, and go ahead to steel scratch, open it, go to the steel base. Currently this is just something else, so we can remove this one, add a fill layer here, put it in here into this. As you can see, it's now white. You can change the roughness to like very roughness and metallic up here. Make it a bit darker. The dirt, yeah, you can change the color of the dirt to a more darker color or more lighter color. You can also change the level of the dirt here in the mask. As you can see. So how I'm gonna export it to Roblox? Export the mesh and export textures are one of the things you need to do because you unwrapped it in Substance Painter, so the UV maps are not the same as in Blender. So what are you gonna do right now is you're gonna export the textures first, right here, and you go to the output directory and change it to something you like. So I go to downloads, name it something new, for example, let's say Fern Bogey. Select the map and I export those. There we go. Now let's go to export mesh and make sure you apply triangulation to avoid deformed UVs. And with or displacement, without displacement isolation, you can turn this off. Currently it's saving, I don't know why I did that, but yeah, just hit export. Rename it to Fern Bogey if you want to, you don't really need the old version anymore. And it says mesh export successfully finished. Now let's go to Blender. And you got this old bogey. And you can just hit import FPX. As you can see, it's there. You don't really want that. So you're gonna zoom out, move it here, and you go up here. And this is a great step first if you wanna import it to Roblox or export it to Roblox. It's a great idea to apply the PBR materials in Blender first, because otherwise you have to add those color maps and whatever into it, and it's a lot of work. So yeah, let's see, how can we get this there? Oh, that's not correct axis. Alright, so we got this. Now what we're gonna do is go to the shading tab. And it's loading right now because there's a lot of materials in here in this project. Okay, so let's get working. Let's remove the normal map here. To add the PBR textures to your mesh, hold Ctrl-Shift-T and then select the correct textures. As you can see, it has the real material that you made. And now let's get the frame material. Press Ctrl-Shift-T again and then select all the frame materials. And you got everything. And it looks quite plain in Blender, but it looks great in Roblox, trust me. Now let's import it into Roblox and let's take a look on how it looks like. Also make sure you exported it in Blender with the correct version. Otherwise you will get the one that you exported from Substance Painter, which is incorrect. So make sure you exported the correct version from Blender to FBX so you can import it in Roblox. So that's how I texture my bogies and how I make my bogies in Blender and Substance Painter. I hope you learned how to use Substance Painter for now. If you need any help or any assistance or there's something going on, just hit me up in the comments and I'll try to explain or help you at least. If you want more like this kinds of videos, make sure to subscribe or let me know in the comments. And yeah, thank you for watching.